You're listening to the Digital Deep Dive, where we tackle the newest trends, strategies, and pain points shaping growth across the digital landscape. From Amazon and D2C to international expansion, join our host and e-commerce leaders across multiple industries for in-depth discussions on how to maximize your brands in the digital arena. Now, here's your host, Aaron Conant.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Digital Deep Dive Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Conant, and today we're going to jump into reviews, specifically reviews around Amazon. I think right now we can probably bleed out into some other marketplaces as well, but I just had a ton of conversations right now, brands reaching out wondering, hey, seems like something's changed on Amazon, how it's addressing reviews and what's going on. So I thought, why not bring on one of our best friends in this area, Gautam and the team over at Yogi. They're doing some awesome stuff. They've been great friends, partners, supporters of a ton of brands in the network, and just, resident experts in this spot. So I thought, I reached out and said, hey, you have time for a podcast? And he was like, yeah, let's do it today. So here we are. But, Gautam, do you want to jump in and just explain to people really quick what you guys are doing? And then we can kind of jump into the current state of affairs with reviews. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. 100%. Really excited to be here. I always love these conversations, Aaron. So thanks for thinking of us. But yeah, super high level on the Yogi end. What we are is a UVOC, universal voice of the consumer platform for consumer goods companies. So what we do is we help brands like Nestle, Chomps, Ollie, plenty of other brands essentially get an understanding of what customers are saying across all their touch points. So reviews and ratings, call center data, surveys, social, so on and so forth, and just empowering brands with that information so they can make better marketing decisions, e-commerce decisions, product decisions, so on and so forth. So yeah, we've been in kind of the reviews and ratings and just feedback space in general. So yeah, always happy to dive in because it's a very dynamic, changing space.
Yeah, so you're inputting multiple different data points just to get that voice, the real voice consumer is what we would say, right? It used to be panels way back in the day. Now you can get near real time. What are people actually saying, right? That I think is more realistic than trying to put a bunch of people. I'm going back to my CPG days, right? You put a bunch of people in a room and then you ask them, but they're kind of oddly incentivized to maybe give a more positive review because they've been compensated for time or whatever.
Yep.
You really get an accurate view, but super interesting. So yeah, if anybody wants to follow up, more than happy to connect you over to the team at Yogi. But one of those main things, which I know we chat about in the past, is around, ingesting the ratings and reviews piece. And then over the past, I don't know, maybe I just say maybe week, maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just the last 3 or 4 days. Brands have been pinging me around, hey, have I noticed or have I heard of, or is there any other flags that are coming up that I'm seeing around the Amazon review space? And obviously I reached out to you and then here we are chatting about it. So if you want to kind of like where we are at or where it was at, and then what you see Amazon is doing in the space, and then what are those implications? Because what I have is a lot of brands wondering, listen, I just saw my review number drop from 146 to, and maybe it's a new item launch as I'm getting a lot of pings. It just dropped from 146 to 135 or 119. What happened? And anyways, I'll kind of kick it over to you, but they're going to need to be able to explain to their upper management, listen, this is across the board what's going on. It's not just us. It's not just this ASIN, but would love to get some insights on that side.
Yeah. So I think it's important to start with what is the Amazon experience used to be like up until very, very recently. So if everyone just has an Amazon page in their head, and let's just actually use two examples because I think this will bleed over into the changes that they've made now. Let's say it is a protein drink, for example, right? The same protein drink, it comes in a vanilla flavor, a chocolate flavor, a strawberry flavor, cookies and cream. Think of two other flavors as well. And then maybe you have, let's say, I don't know, a t-shirt, for example, that it comes in small, medium, large, and then 6 different colors, for example. effectively the same t-shirt, just slight different variation. So those are two separate types of products. Everyone probably has that image in their of the Amazon page in their head where you go on the page, you can select the different ASIN options, right? So if it's the protein drink one, you maybe have by default, the chocolate one is selected. You can click the strawberry one. You can click the vanilla one, for example. The way the experience always used to work in that world is that the review count and the average rating would stay the same, right? So if you were on the chocolate protein drink page and it showed 500 reviews at a 4.6 and you switched to strawberry, it would still show 500 reviews at a 4.6, for example.
It was one of the things where they said, if you had a ton of different variations, put them all on the same page because then all the reviews, the ratings, they would all be aggregated, and then you'd potentially show up higher in organic search as a whole.
So exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. So it's a classic ASIN grouping thing. It's actually what they used to encourage as well. And so what this meant is like the review count would always be going up. The average rating would look like to the customer that it was shared across these different flavors.
But maybe strawberry was horrible. Maybe strawberry
exactly
horrible, but it would still get a 4.5 star because everybody loved every other one. Okay.
Right, exactly. So now we can think of what is the implication of this to brands as well as to consumers. So the implication of this to brands is they could use this to their advantage somewhat to mask bad flavors into larger ASIN groups so that it gets isn't as obvious. Or, oh, hey, we just released a new product. Let's just say we released a pumpkin flavor. Obviously, if this is a new product, there's not going to be any reviews for it, but we can put it into this ASIN grouping so that if a new consumer comes, they're not going to feel like this is potentially nobody's tried this before yet. So that was the advantage for brands. A potential disadvantage is if one of your flavors was really bad and it was getting a ton of negative reviews, it's going to drag down the average rating for the entire ASIN group, right? So there's positives and negatives, but from what we would hear at least is most people would use it on the positive end to kind of mask maybe some underperforming products.
Or even like you're saying, the new item launch. All of a sudden, there's ratings, there's reviews, and it can get the flywheel going sooner.
Yep, exactly. The implication for consumers is almost like the vice versa of that a little bit, if you think about it, which is, oh, hey, I'm looking for a new protein drink. Oh, strawberry has a high star rating, just like chocolate and vanilla does. Okay, I'll just order the strawberry one. When in reality, I'm getting a poorer product, if you will. Yeah. Now, if shoppers were super, super savvy, there were ways that you could go to all reviews and do certain filters to actually only see the reviews for strawberry, but
nobody does that.
Exactly. Right? It probably took 3 to 5 clicks. And nobody's going to.
Right. And Amazon's designed itself to keep you on the page as little time as possible. Click, put something in the cart and go check out. Right. Like it's just, yeah.
Yep. So then I think it was January or February, Amazon made an announcement that they are now going to switch the way that this works to now benefit the consumer on the top line PDP page. So now what this means is, if we remember the what I was saying about the protein drink example, where when you click chocolate and you click vanilla, the star rating and the number of reviews stays the same. Now, if there is enough variation between each ASIN, they will change the review count and average rating accordingly. So flavor is an example where there is chocolate is different than vanilla, even if it's the same brand, even if it's the same size, all that kind of stuff. So when you switch from now chocolate to vanilla to strawberry, the review count and the average rating is going to change to only what people rated that individual ASIN. And so now this is what makes it seem like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I lost 200 reviews, when in reality you didn't. It's actually just that you're actually kind of getting a little bit more of an accurate view. And this is to honestly somewhat the consumers benefit, so that they see that. And so Now, two important points to jump into with this. And Amazon is kind of laid out. It's not that they're going to do this for every separate ASIN. It is only if the ASIN group, if each individual ASIN in the ASIN group is noticeably different, is kind of the wording that they use. So an example of this is like this T-shirt, for example, if it's green, red, and purple,
Right.
they're going to keep the ASIN grouping together. Or if there is a 2-pack, 4-pack, and 6-pack of the same protein drink, chocolate, and you can get it in a 2-pack, 4-pack, or 6-pack, they're going to keep those reviews grouped together, for example, because it's effectively the same product inside, if you will. And so that's where there's some nuance to this. But that is fundamentally why people are probably literally waking up one day and seeing that their review counts look different, or their star ratings look different, or stuff like that. Now, if you fast forward to why Amazon is probably making this change, this is honestly more speculative on my end at the end of the day, but one of them is to benefit the consumers more, probably. And the second one is like, this is probably cleaner from an LLM shopping experience perspective as well, right? Like they're obviously Amazon, not only being the biggest retailer in the world, but also a tech company, is going to be playing in this larger AI, large language model game, specifically probably from a shopping perspective. And so that cleanliness of data probably also helps from a product recommendation perspective for any algorithms that they have downstream in this new experience. And so so definitely an interesting change for sure.
Yeah, I just jumped out because you were saying protein. I'm out here on a chocolate one, and there's a new launch, and it is variated, and there's over 3,500 at 4.3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And the new product is on the page. I won't bring up the brand, but it is the variation is 10 reviews.
Yes, exactly.
So this goes to show that this is literally like it's brand new and it's just rolled out. This is something that broke off.
Yep, exactly.
Which this completely changes
your decision making as a consumer. Yeah.
And well, yeah, and also if I'm planning on how much I'm going to be able to, based on past, how much I'm going to be able to sell in a new item launch, because this one is now showing up, with 4,000 reviews. Now this is 10.
Yep.
Literally 10.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
The other thing though is what comes to mind is when Amazon does this type of thing, and I agree with you. I agree. I actually like it from a consumer standpoint. Business, it's a pain in the butt, right? Because I have to rethink what I'm doing, but at least I can adapt to it. But from a consumer standpoint, this is actually what I want to see. I want to know that the strawberry was horrible. And if I love strawberry, I'm not going to go get that brand of strawberry. I can go look at another one that's got higher ratings or reviews. It's better from a consumer standpoint for sure. So here's the thing that I usually see that happens when Amazon does something like this. This obviously is not a group of critical thinking people on the back end, methodically going through, thinking, hey, how close is this? Is this really the same? Is it not? Okay, it's not. And then I'm going to have a justification as to why I'm making this change. It's probably automated, right? And it was just sweeping. And so I think there's probably going to be some pain points maybe in there a little bit with, hey, well, I got rolled up into this and I shouldn't have, or I've had reviews taken down or moved or switched that shouldn't have been. And maybe that's because the customer actually came back and reviewed the wrong item, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And they did put out a set of rules that if you Google, or I can share the link as well, that is somewhat directional. I mean, I'm reading from it right now. So Reviews will continue to be shared for the following variations, color or pattern variations of the same product. So that's the t-shirt example, for example, that I gave. So those will continue to be shared or grouped together. Size variations that maintain the same function. So you can see how that's like, it's an interesting combination of words, but it's hard to deduce like what exactly that is. They give an example of a king size bed versus a queen size bed. Pack size or quantity variations, secondary scent variations for non-scent focused products, and then different model fitments for the same product type. So again, like there's definitely gray area in those combinations. And the reason that this is being like tiered out is the way that they announced it is between, I think it was mid-Feb and end of May, they're going to roll it out category to category. And so like, that's why Aaron, you're probably going to get more calls in April and then more calls in May, essentially from people that are in different product categories that this hasn't rolled out to yet, for example. So, yeah.
And I will be sure to just refer them to this podcast. We do a webinar or something on it. Yeah. But what is also interesting is now when you click on it, it is actually taking you to those product specific reviews, which actually is better when I'm thinking from, where you guys come in is now it's actually being more, I don't know, it seems like it might be easier you're more accurate because as it goes to that ASIN, that variation, what is showing up is specifically just the reviews for that item, which was always confusing in the past. Like you were saying, a customer could go in the past just to that ASIN and then go through and funnel through all of the reviews to get to the ones that apply specifically to strawberry, like we're talking about. But now they're actually, as you go to the bottom of the page, if you click on that variation, what shows up is the actual reviews for that item, not just, a conglomeration of all the reviews across all the flavors, which is awesome. So, I mean, and from your standpoint, that's good, right? Like, if you want to know, if I'm a company and I want to use, I'm using you for like sentiment analysis, that's going to be a lot easier for it to actually pull what's going on.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the one of the most important things, and the thing that we try to do with every single feedback data point that we pull into Yogi is get it as specific as possible to the SKU or ASIN or whatever that's being talked about. So yeah, at the end of the day, the more accurate that tagging can be, it makes a huge difference for what you can deduce downstream, right? Because I'm sure just to go back to like the review grouping side of things, there's probably also a world where on the e-commerce team or in upper management, people didn't realize their strawberry flavor was doing that badly, because when they look at their top line reporting, they're like, oh, okay, we have a 4.6 star rating across our protein drink sub brand, so we're good to go, essentially. So yeah, I think that accuracy does make a big difference.
No, it's crazy. Are there any new things that are popping up there that people should be aware of, ways to look at it, or I don't know, are there new things popping up on your side that you think are neat?
Yeah, I mean, there's I mean, in general, I'm sure people are hearing the announcements on like Amazon's moves on just LLMs and AI-based shopping in general and stuff like that. Like, I think there was a recent one where they said that their conversion rate is higher than normal for people that engage with their AI shopping tools and stuff like that. So you're starting to see other things, right? Like, I think it was late last year, but you started to see these AI review summaries come up essentially at the bottom of the product page. So they are continuing to play around with the ways that they showcase reviews on the top PDP page. And it's like you said, right? What, 80 to 90% of shoppers are going to make their decision based on that front page at the end of the day. They're not going to click all the bells and whistles to see all the other stuff.
I do. So I do. Like I saw that report. It was like 30% of like Black Friday shopping was actually, done using Rufus. And then like the conversion rates were so much higher. I don't know if it was 60%. I'm trying to, we did a cool dinner outside of Shop Talk with market performance group, Danny Silverman, but also Ian over at Sensor Tower, and some incredible data. I have to have them on for a podcast as well. But what they were laying out is the conversion rate is higher, and then that jumped to 30% of Black Friday shopping. Like, I use it. I didn't think I would. But once you start using it and you ask it to make recommendations, and you can ask it for questions about the specific product, and it's going probably through all those ratings and reviews and extracting the answer back out and feeding to me at the top of the page, so I don't have to shift through it. I mean, the same way I'm using Google now, the AI recommendation. That's just it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. So, well, this has been an absolute blast. Like, any key takeaways for everybody as we wrap up here?
I mean, I think there's one bigger thing, maybe one more meta point from this Amazon change, and I think other dynamics that are happening in the consumer goods industry, which is it's product quality and product experience is just becoming more and more important at the end of the day, right? Like, there was a time on Amazon where your new product launch or a potentially poorly performing flavor, you could hide behind better performing flavors and stuff like that. I think where you're starting to see, and it's maybe happening incrementally over time, but we're getting to a world where more and more consumers, and now even AI-based shopping assistants, are going to be able to cut through the noise more and more to truly understand, how is this specific product or SKU working, and will it work for me? So I think the importance of just making great products and experiences is just going to become more and more important, and harder in general. I think that's why we're seeing so many of our customers and so much demand in the market for our solution, is because I think more and more brands are just coming around to the idea of like, we need to understand our customer as best as we can to make better decisions in just terms of like, fundamentally, what product are we building? How are we marketing this?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I mean, you think about a time where people are being a little bit more cautious about how they're spending their money. As a company, when they're focused on profitability, a big chunk of that is SKU rationalization. And then the new product launches, what are you coming out with? I totally agree. Like, you have to be more diligent, I think, than in the last, I would say, decade that we've been. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I think the marketplaces, which were easy to gamify early on, especially on the review side, we've seen so many advancements on. Everybody could, from I don't want to go to the keyword stuff, and that was one way, but on the review side, how you could just pay for reviews, and you have these products coming from overseas with 40,000 reviews in like 3 weeks. Totally crazy. The savviness to launching products, owning products in these marketplaces is, you have to be very, very savvy now at this point in time. And then you can't just launch anything and hope it takes off. I think people have to be a little bit more, especially larger companies, a little more strict with what they're doing, a little more cost conscious and profit conscious as a whole. So, I mean, in the marketplaces, the LLMs are just going to keep getting smarter and smarter on how they're weeding out the products, and those are on. So, no, fantastic point. Again, my friend, thanks so much for your time today. This is absolutely awesome. Course. We won't let it go so long between our episodes, having you back on. And I'm sure, like you said, over the next couple of months, I'll field a bunch more phone calls from brands. And as those pop up, I'll write down some questions and we'll have you back on. Again, everybody, Gautam from Yogi. What's the website again? Is it
it's meetyogi.com, meetyogi.com.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, my friend. With that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Digital Deep Dive. Thanks, everybody, for listening in.